Welcome back, and this week on the show, bring your salt and grab them candles, because we're covering the Midnight Man. I'm Salt Circle Steve.
I'll make your friends bleed, Michael.
And I'm Don't Blow Out Your Candle, Danielle.
And this is Every Film in the Book.
And we want to die.
And it's midnight. So, you know what that means.
Yeah, we need to count very slowly, but like a couple seconds after our candle goes out, that's when you have to start. See, that's how the Midnight Man gets you.
Right. As long as you count to 10, it doesn't matter if it's actually 10 seconds. Like, it could be shorter or longer than 10 seconds, but, you know, as long as you, like, count to 10, and you stay within that time.
Don't completely focus on lighting your candle.
No.
Focus on counting.
Or freaking out. You know, you can freak out a little bit.
Also, if you're standing under a leaky pipe, make sure you hold that candle right under that drippage. You're going to want to catch that water for later.
You definitely didn't see it earlier. You definitely didn't know it had been there the whole time.
Yeah.
There definitely wasn't a whole plot line where we're emptying buckets into larger buckets.
The grandma definitely doesn't talk about her plants 90% of the film.
I'm pretty sure the first line of dialogue is, "Honey, make sure you don't trip on the buckets. I don't want wet floors now."
I don't know why they didn't get a lighter. Like, they ran out of matches, like, halfway through the movie. Like, you had 10 matches. Just get a lighter.
I hate to be the logic guy again, but
oh God, here we go.
the stuff to play the game was inside the box.
Yeah, you can't bring in outside game pieces
But
into your Monopoly
Can't
game.
switch your candles, can't switch the matches.
The rule was you have to light the candle. Does it matter how you light the candle?
Well, that's in the
fine print.
subheadings and like the bylaws.
the
It's
only
on the backside.
The only thing you need to bring to this game is a drop of blood.
You do need to provide your own blood.
And multiple generations of your family and their friends.
Yes.
What if I bring other people's blood? Like, what if I cut some guy outside and I touched his blood to the paper?
The Midnight Man would be very confused, and he would have to go looking for that guy.
Would you say he might be so sad?
I don't see how he could be more sad. He's already so sad.
Did you mean so because of the sewing needle?
Well, I mean that, but he also turns his jaw upside down and says, "I'm so sad."
Yeah, that too.
I felt bad for him, you know? He just wanted to kill kids. God, the man had a dream, right?
Violence towards minors.
And they're like, "We're going to keep our candles lit." And he's like, "Come on, I just want to play.
I never get to play.
Let me show you pain."
This generation of children, they're all teases.
They're all like, "I want to play a game." But no, they don't want to play a game. God damn it.
It's a stupid game to begin with.
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, the whole moral of this movie should have been, make sure you read the instructions first and then play your game. Like, Monopoly is a lot easier once you understand how to play it and before you get involved and you end up punching your grandma because she's, you landed on her space for the 5th time. But like,
I'm tired of paying you rent, Grandma.
Well, like they say when you build anything like a dresser or something, you like just read the instructions and then try to build it. Like,
no, I hate that this whole movie, they're like, "Oh my God, like, I wonder what the Midnight Man game is. I wonder what this is. Let's play it." And then after they finish the final step and they realize, oh, there's spooky shit in the house now, they're like, "What have we done?
we shouldn't have played this.
Well, I mean, it's the classic play a game, summon something you think's going to be fun. He completely ruins your sleepover.
He ruins your sleep."
Yeah.
Yeah, they could have just had sex this whole time.
It's a pretty well done like motif. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of overdone.
Yeah,
the
very
amount,
much overdone.
Play the game, summon the bad guy. Let's watch until everybody's dead.
Yeah, like I can't remember the plot of those Ouija movies, but I'm pretty
It's
sure it
basically
follows
that.
the same type of thing. Like, hey, don't play with the Ouija board. And they're like, "Hey, what happens if we play with this Ouija board?"
Okay, but you have to follow the rules. But if you break the rules, you're going to die.
And even well, you said it was filmed in the same house as the Truth or Dare.
Oh yeah,
And
well,
that's
not like the mainstream Truth or Dare. It was like that Netflix
Yeah,
Truth
the-
or Dare that
yeah,
came
the-
out the same year as the other Truth or Dare.
Yeah,
Huh.
Yeah, I watched the Netflix version, bitch.
I watched both of them. They're both terrible.
Yeah, I know they're
both so
equally
bad.
bad.
Yeah.
It's the same house and it's for a different game
Yeah,
horror film.
honestly, I wanted the TV to turn on and be like, Truth or Dare,
Truth or Dare.
kiss the Midnight Man.
Oh God.
It's like, oh man, are you gonna keep the mask on or off for this? And he's like, off.
Oh, he's slimy.
Then-
Oh my God, those teeth.
Turned his mouth upside down so you could feel like Spider-Man.
Hold on, let me stand under the drippy pipes. It'll feel like it's raining.
We need more ambiance for this.
Wait, turn the lights out.
Wait, the lights are already out. We broke the rule.
Lights out, candles lit, and my mask is coming off.
It's gotten no one excited ever.
No, if this was filmed during COVID times, that mask off thing would have been like pretty scary. It's like, 6 feet, Midnight Man, 6 feet.
Or he pulls it off and he's like really ugly.
Oh,
Mhm.
oof.
Well, he was really ugly.
Yeah. A lot of people were disappointed by those mask reveals last year or the year before that.
Oh, like people trying to date.
Yeah, you know. You meet them in public and
You
they got to
meet 'em
wear a
with a mask.
mask.
Nope, I just like the top half of your nose. Put that back on.
Sorry, I'm only into eyes. Like the mouth turns me off. So like,
But
get that out.
if it's midnight and you're trying to keep your electricity bill 0, you'll never even notice.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, they really never did elaborate on why the power was never out, even when the lights were on.
I feel like it was
The
a full
house was
page.
still dark.
A full page of rules. We didn't hear all the rules, Steve.
Yeah, how
So,
are we supposed to pay
that's-
attention to this movie?
At some point, they had to skip a few rules, and they kind of just had us assume things. But
Mm.
I will say, this kind of starts at a moment that normally happens further on in a movie. The possessed grandma, the something happened to the grandma that she's
Right.
passing down through generations. Like normally, you find that out later in the film, and this is
Right.
kind of the first scene where you're like, okay, something's wrong, something's up with grandma. It's 14 seconds into the film.
Yeah, well, that first scene with the little kids playing the game, it makes it feel a little bit older, and then, there's a time jump that they don't specify that's a time jump, but you're like, come on. Obviously, that's what's happening.
So, little correction, thanks to my handy-dandy notebook. That opening scene takes place in 1953.
Yeah, it showed up on the
Uh-huh.
screen.
And then the next scene is just present day. So, take that as a grain of salt. I don't know what
Did
year
it say present day?
Yeah, it says present day.
I didn't
we,
see that.
We were already tuned out.
I didn't see
In the first-
present day at all.
in the
No,
first
trust me, I don't
minute.
even blame you. It's so easy to just clock out of this movie.
Yeah, so they do start with the kids playing the original game, or what
Right.
the first time we're seeing the game played, but all the stuff looks old then too.
Yeah, and they're all wearing sweater vests.
So it's the 50s.
Yeah.
Like the kid's got the swooped over hair and the sweater vest and a tie. I'm like, that kid is way too formal to be hanging out with his friends. It's got to be the 1950s.
Well, they were hoping it was dark enough that we wouldn't notice.
Ah,
They were hoping it was too dark. But I can tell a V-neck sweater vest.
I could pick that out of a crowd any day of the week.
I will say that the first scene starts with a really cool idea for the movie, and we get some good kills.
Oh yeah, like that first little girl that leaves the circle, which
Uh-huh.
I only could write stupid girl, why leave the circle?
Right.
Why leave circle,
Why
girl?
leave circle?
Their friends are literally screaming, "Hey, don't leave the circle!" And she's like, "What's that over there?"
And she's like, no, I can't. This circle's scary.
I'm gonna.
I'm
gonna
allergic to salt, guys.
Oh, jeez.
Sorry, I cracked myself up.
Yeah.
Anyway, what were
we-
you,
we
what were you
noticed.
saying, Michael?
About the kids when they were playing.
Yeah.
It kind of, I don't know if this is just, the movie was very predictable. So when I saw that little girl, normally the first one that talks and does the most explaining gets to watch everyone die.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's just how it kind of is.
Yeah.
Right.
So she's yelling at people, and then we get the first, oh, they might make it,
Right.
which is, and then they do it again, but with the new generation.
Right.
It's kind of interesting that they do the same thing twice in a different time period, and there was a couple cool things from
Mhm.
each one. But aside from that, it was all very, let's just stamp everything very generic and hope that...
Sprinkle in the stale dialogue, too.
Yeah.
You
Oh, yeah,
sprinkle
it felt a little bit like a film student made a movie with like a slightly higher budget than most film students do.
I mean, their budget alone probably went to Robert Englund and Lin Shaye, because those are the only two named actors in this movie.
Or the exploding child.
Like,
that might have cost a little bit.
I mean, the other guys have names, but it's like those are like the two big name actors, and like if you look at the IMDb of the other people leading this,
right,
it's probably Midnight Man and maybe like Blue's Clues when they were like younger.
Well, it's probably the two of them, and then the next most expensive thing was their blood budget, because there was a lot of blood.
Well, like in that first scene, like the Midnight Man like takes that first girl, and you just see like the blood start pooling out on the floor, and then he's just like, "Hey, look at your friend's head. Isn't this cool?"
And she's just leaking blood from her mouth.
It's like, you ever seen your friend throw up blood before? Here we go.
One thing that I did like is that it showed you right off the bat that it's not human. Like, you know what you get when you're summoning, but you also like to know what kind. It's like, all right, is this the eating the children? Is this going to scare the children?
Right.
Or is this going to, like, take them? And this was the taking of the children kind of summon.
I just love the way you put that. Yeah, you know what you're going to get when you summon something.
It's evil. It's like just want to know what kind.
Experience.
We've all been there before. It's like, follow the rules, everything's fine. It's a little, anxiety-inducing or whatever.
Like, whoa, I felt something.
It's
crazy.
like, wow, that was kind of fun. Back to video games, I guess.
But we almost skipped over the next death. I guess it's our main girl's like little brother in this scene. Like, he goes running outside and she's like, "Don't go outside, like it's against the rules, you can't leave the house." And this kid gets engulfed by shadow and then explodes into like a blood mist.
It was like dust but blood.
Oh my god.
Firecracker and a water balloon. Just
oh yeah.
Oh my god.
And then was it just the weird lights, or was it snowing so you could see all the... I think it was in the wintertime so you could see all the blood.
Yeah.
And we talked about the front shots.
Mm-hmm.
So the movie starts with the front of the house shot. They're everywhere throughout the film.
Mm-hmm.
And then also, did you guys notice how many out the front door from inside the house shots there were too? There was just as many. So they took...
God.
We're going to make a staple piece here. The outside the house shot, and then we're going to do the opposite of it just as many times.
But they only really had to film it like twice, once during the day and once at night, and then they just kept using the same
it's the same footage.
And the main character and her like boyfriend booty call or whatever.
So I had to write their names down
10
or I
o'clock.
would have forgotten.
10 o'clock, whenever you want to come over.
But our main girl's name is Alex. She's taking care of her grandma, who's played by Lin Shaye, and the grandma's kind of like an asshole.
Were you going to say bitch?
Yeah, I was, but
grandma's
almost slipped. But then I was like, "Oh, grandma!"
But then it would
call that a bitch.
It would seesaw right to, oh my word!
Yeah.
I couldn't do this without you. You're such a good person for taking care of me. Your mom was a whore. It's like, whoa!
You're gonna die alone, little girl. Also, could you fetch me my mirror?
I remember a cookie recipe. Let me share it with you.
Would you like some chocolate chip cookies? You'll need them in hell, because that's where you're going.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, she was kind of grilling her, and she's like, "Oh yeah, well, it's just the guy coming over. Yeah. Oh, one of many, or however she puts it. She's like, oh yeah, just the one.
She's like, yeah, there's no others, and she's like, I'm sure there's no others. It's like a hot dog down a hallway. There.
Everybody's grandma slut shames them.
Right,
that's just how it
calling
is.
your granddaughter a whore, pretty much.
Well, you gotta. I don't know.
And she's
tough love, I guess.
Well, they said they were teenagers. I thought maybe they were like 18 or so.
Well, I mean, the boy Miles like says something about like, oh, well, what are you gonna do about school? Like, you're taking care of your grandma all the time, and she's like, well, school can wait. But they never specify
probably
like
college.
what school.
It's probably college though.
Yeah.
Well, she was old enough to be on her. Well, because she comes back to take care of the grandma, at least, and her mom's dead. She was off on her own. Doing fine, and then had to come back for the grandma.
Yeah, it's those context clues that I don't pay attention
She was out at college.
Yeah,
we'll just say that.
All right, she's got her degree,
but
she's studying hard.
So it's going to be impossible to go through this in the events that happen because it doesn't matter at all.
Not at all.
Nothing matters.
Before we take a serious dump on the movie, the exploding kid was cool.
That was
Yeah.
cool.
The fist through the Falcon punch through the skull.
Yes.
That was
okay.
cool. I didn't mind dragging them away into the dark. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it's
like, I'll take
it's
that.
creepy.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Pools of blood, lots of pools of blood. There were several shots of like the little girl throwing up blood and then the main girl,
Yeah.
Alex,
Yeah.
in the bathtub, and then she crawls out and she's like vomiting like really badly. Like just
Right.
straight blood. Yeah.
While her grandmother's screaming
Yeah. Like
that you have to bleed. Like you have to bleed. That's your
Yeah.
disgusting blood. Like, it was kind of weird.
that was really weird.
She was having a rough day.
Ugh.
You're disgusting, filthy blood.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
Grandma, come on.
Jesus.
I have friends over. I mean, he's getting scared too, but come on.
Well, speaking of having friends over, more and more people kept showing up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just random people start showing up into this house.
Yep.
Like, there's a random mention, like, after they start, or, like, before they start playing this midnight game, they're like, oh, what if we call Kelly? Like, let's get a three-way going here.
Well, they didn't even tell you, and they try to use it as like a half jump scare, and you're
Yeah.
like, well, no, the Midnight Man was what we're afraid of, and then
Yeah, he doesn't use
and then he
doors.
says, oh well, I invited her, but I didn't think she'd come because of the snow, and it's like 2 inches of snow, and it's like,
Right.
well, if she. But she called him or whatever. It was like, yeah, come over at 10. You know the deal.
Right.
So it was like, okay, is the deal to bring her too? And okay.
Yeah, and then she shows up and she's like, you know what? You guys could use my help. I'm gonna join the game.
yeah,
like
no.
you
That was
idiot.
so weird.
She's like,
That's
she's
so weird.
instantly an expert on the Midnight Man, and she's just like, oh my god, so like it's the creepy pasta. Like, she says pasta.
She says pass.
I didn't like referring to what the film is referred to in real life.
Yeah.
in the film.
It's like what they do
Yeah,
with like
come on.
Slender Man, where it's like you start calling
Yeah.
out like the memes and all that shit.
Yep.
It's like
Yeah.
you take me right out of it.
We're here watching it.
Yeah, like, I
because
don't-
we know those things.
Yeah.
You don't have to remind us.
I'm not gonna go
yeah.
on Reddit and be like, Midnight Man creepypasta. I'm like, no, like it's a movie. Like, just let it be a movie.
Right.
Just write a better script
although-
and let it be a movie.
I was glad that they didn't all rush over to the laptop and look
Oh
it
my
up.
god, yeah, there was
They-
no
they-
like library
In a lot
scene.
of these game movies, they go research what game they're playing.
Yeah.
Right.
So the form of that in this film was the
Was
ha-
that
was
this
the house
friend?
the house call doctor from
Yeah.
1870 for the
my
grandma.
But like, just like before we get away from Kelly, I still have a bone to pick with this girl, because like,
Wait.
so she shows up and she's like the expert on the Midnight Man,
Mm-hmm.
and then she's like, well, the only way for me to help you is join, which is bullshit, because she could have been like the girl on the outside, like lighting candles, having things ready for them, but no, she's fucking stupid.
Steve was going for a utility use friend.
Yes.
To don't play, just support like a
Like-
pit crew for
like-
the Demon
Yeah,
Fest.
like if Danielle and I were playing the fucking Midnight Man,
no, I'd want to play.
and you walk
I wanna
in,
play.
and I'd be like, Michael,
I would not
stand
wanna
off
play.
to the side, like have a bunch of salt ready. Like, I'm talking a gallon of salt, and have like 15, 16 lighters ready. And like just help us out through the night.
And
you know?
I'd be
Get us
super
some
cocky
food.
and not bring any of it, and just be like, "No, you're dying,
What
Steve."
did you need? Sorry, I can't hear you.
But yeah, so she forces herself on this game, and then the minute things start getting scary and her candle goes out, she's like, oh my god, is this real? It's like, motherfucker, you knew it was real.
Right.
You were the first one to be like, you guys are, well, like, when you fuck up, you really fuck up. Like, man, I can't believe you summoned the Midnight Man. It's like, well, if you knew, why willingly join?
Right.
Her whole character was just placed there so that she could die. She had
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
purpose other than coming in, just joining the whole situation, immediately dying.
And
Yeah.
she kind of served the purpose as, we're gonna show you it. It's all in their head for a little bit.
Right.
Now there's consequences to the game, and we're just gonna use this throwaway character. 'Cause I feel like while they were writing it, they were like, oh, let's have like a random friend stop by and be a jump scare, and they're like,
Yeah.
crap. Now she's got to be in the rest of the movie. Okay, well, let's use her to teach them that sometimes they do, the stuff in real life does happen in their head. Like, I don't know. It's
Let's
weird.
put her in a scene where we put a giant realistic bunny mask on the Midnight Man and have him walk around.
That was kind of
and
cool.
reveal her shocking backstory that she's a rabbit murderer.
Yeah, that was the stupidest fear. Like, so the one, the girl was afraid of blood,
Yeah,
and the
Alex
guy
was
was
afraid
afraid
of
of pain. She was afraid of a rabbit man
no,
because she killed a rabbit.
Yeah.
She's scared of a rabbit.
She
or
was
is
just
she
afraid
scared-
of like the guilt. She was afraid of the guilt or something like that.
Yeah, but like I don't know. It
yeah,
just,
they never really explain her fear. Like the Midnight Man like reads everybody before he attacks them for the first time, and with her there was no attacked for the first time.
Yeah,
Like,
he just said, "I know your fear."
Yeah,
and then
and,
she
like-
killed herself.
and then she dies.
And then she died.
But like, I want to know why she didn't get that second chance. Like, you know, Alex got put through the bathtub of blood. The Miles got put through the fist eye poppy hand thing. I don't know what the hell he was doing, but like, and then they both got let go, and they were able to relight the candle. So I'm like, he was just toying with them, and he's like, all right, well, let me work on my skills with Kelly over here.
Well, now he does have 3 hours and 33 minutes to play.
That's
So
That's true. Well,
he's
by
like,
the
okay,
time
if
she
I-
joins, it's 1.
Yeah, but everybody gets an hour. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, we did an hour. Okay, we got to. Oh, she just showed up. All right. Well, I don't even like her.
Just take her out right
I didn't
away.
even know she was playing tonight, so she's gonna die first,
she wasn't part of the core too,
right?
Also, like there
the
are
legacy players.
there are rules, but also the Midnight Man doesn't follow the rules. So
He's a cheater.
Yeah, well,
Cheater.
and that's the other thing. It's like you gotta at some point give your characters like some sort of victory. Like you have to give them some way of winning. Like when we watched Smile, it was like you either traumatize somebody to the point that this now passes on to them, or you
Yep.
kill yourself in
Yep.
front of somebody anyway, and it still traumatizes.
You
them.
have a way out, but you got to choose.
Right. So there's a way out. But with this, like, they're like, oh, if you follow these rules, you win. But then Robert Englund is like, well, not really because he cheats. So it's like there's no way to win anyway. So it's
Yeah.
like you might as well just either off yourself
Right.
or just, try and
Which, I mean-
spark a conversation with this guy.
They do show you her mom just killing herself,
Right.
but we never get to see what she sees. So that top of the banister on the second story could have looked like the Grand Canyon. We're not sure.
But like it almost seems like from that scene when the Midnight Man's like, do it, take your life.
Do it.
It's almost like she made a bargain, like, cause she's like, don't touch my daughter. And it's like, well, she didn't play the game. So
yeah,
Right.
why are you killing yourself for this guy?
Well, her fear was heights. Never mind. Bogus theory.
Yeah. It almost makes it seem like she was in like some long-term thing with I almost said the Midnight Man, because like it was daytime. The game can only be played at night,
Right. And she wasn't walking around with like a candle or anything.
Yeah.
He just
Yeah.
like happened to show up like 12 o'clock in the afternoon on a Wednesday, and he's like, hey, what's up? Kill yourself.
My schedule's a little different these days.
Sorry, daylight savings time. I'm running on Japan time right now.
I do think that what they were trying to imply is that what happened with the grandma, where she got like sucked into this thing, was also happening to the mother. But like the grandma was the one who was, being the
she's
the puppet
She
for
was
him.
basically like keeping him as a pet. Like she kept him in her wardrobe, and he kept like popping out every now and then. He's like, she's trying to sleep.
Right. Yeah.
Backs up into the
Good.
closet.
He was her caretaker the whole time.
Yeah. He's like, she needs more vitamin E. What? She can need vitamin E.
She
It's
probably
important.
she needs a lot of things.
She's bedridden. She needs the vitamin E.
She needs it to go from
What is
12
vitamin E for?
12 o'clock to 12:34 or 3:34.
But yeah, I think just the whole idea of, the grandma to the mom to now the daughter, I don't think they even had a clear idea as to how he really worked. And
Yeah,
like
I
that's
mean, we
one thing. Yeah, that's one thing you have to establish is how does your villain do his deal? Like everybody has a set of rules, and he
Right.
doesn't
Like,
really
if
have
you're
a set
gonna
of
have
rules.
specific characters teaming up with this guy, Like if they clearly say, "Oh, the grandma like has a deal with him and like she's been feeding him players."
They
ever
don't.
since.
They don't even say that. They just say she's been providing him with play.
Yeah,
Like they don't even
so-
give any sentence about it at
Right.
all.
But it's like if you're gonna have a character like give me any inkling like after she survived, like the Midnight Man took a fancy to her and like they became friends. and,
Right.
like
But I
I
mean,
don't
they
know.
don't tell you where her dad is.
no.
Mhm.
They don't tell you where Grandpa is.
Nope.
Well, no, they were too young for her to be with Grandpa
Yeah,
when they played the game. Sorry,
The child was not the
it was a young themed movie, but
Oh,
let's not
geez.
push the boundaries too far. But they don't explain why he's doing it. They don't explain where they got the game. They don't explain how the game got there.
No.
They don't explain what happens. Like they just don't. They just show you the front of the house.
Also,
That's
at
it.
the
They just-
end,
They just show you the front of the house.
they don't really show you what happens with Alex at the end of the movie either. He's just like, you won the game.
Well,
then
no,
it-
he
it
doesn't
cuts
even.
later.
He just
No,
says
your
your game,
game is
game's
over.
over.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, did she? Well, I guess it implies that she died because then like the epilogue. I can't believe they gave us a fucking epilogue.
No, we talked earlier. We request specifically to have an epilogue for this movie.
Yeah,
If we didn't have it, we would be confused and there would be plot holes and we wouldn't know where some lines went off.
Yeah, we wrote the director and we're like, buddy, seriously. Great movie you got on your hands here, but you need that epilogue. You're going to want
Yeah.
that epilogue.
That really cleared everything up
yeah.
for us.
Oh my. Okay, I know like we're jumping whatever. Who gives a shit? It's the Midnight Man. But that final scene where the little boy picks up the box with the game pieces in it and he's just like, "Dad, can I have this?" And the dad's like, "Yeah, it doesn't look. I don't see why not. It doesn't look harmful." It's like, open the box,
Like,
you lazy.
you can hear stuff jiggling around inside, and he's just like, "Oh yeah, it's probably fine." I'm
Yeah.
like, "What if there were weapons in there?"
Yeah,
or
and then walking out of the house, he's like, "What do you think's in there?" And the kid's like, "I hope it's a game."
He's the nurse, right? The nurse
Yeah.
that's with the
Yeah.
doctor.
Yeah.
So he knows what's going on.
you would
right.
think.
So
Why would you take anything from that
well,
house?
here's the thing. The doctor, everybody that was in that house knew about it, except
Right.
for the new players. So
Okay.
the doctor knew,
Right.
and the nurse or
Yeah,
whatever.
I think he
whatever
was also a
The
doctor, but
deputy
a
doctor.
Whatever.
younger doctor.
He's a nurse for my story. He knows, but again, they don't tell us anything.
Right.
So did the Midnight Man get his grips on him like it got on the grandma, and he's telling his kid he can have the game because
Because he's
That's
giving
how
his
it's
kid up.
but they don't show you.
It's
They don't
stupid.
tell you. They don't.
Or
leave
is it
up
just
to
a
you.
poorly written script? And they were like, we're definitely getting a sequel to this, so we gotta fucking set up the sequel.
I don't
I
see
think
how
it's
you
the
could think. I
scripting.
don't see. There's not a second one, right?
No, not
Okay.
that I know
Okay.
of.
All right. So there is
No,
still
No, actually, it's called the Bye Bye Man.
there is
Well,
some
that's weird.
justice in the world. There's no sequel to this film, even though they specifically set up a sequel. Or did they?
Or-
Because maybe the kid, he's like, this game looks stupid.
Well, like
Mhm.
when I saw the epilogue, like I truly thought it was gonna be Alex as an older lady, and like
Yeah.
now
Something.
like
Oh.
her like brother's cousin's nephew or something is like being babysat by her, and she's like, "Would you like to play a game, my little boy?"
What I would have liked, the doctor somehow knew the game was being played.
Right.
So she moves away,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's like 3 years later because they did it a couple times at
Right,
the start,
right.
so it's been done. We could do it again. 3 years later, she's sitting in an apartment with a new guy, and then all of a sudden it does like the, and then it takes you into her eye, and then back into the house, and it's the front of the house.
And then she's there again.
She never
magically.
left.
Yeah,
My
her
God.
greatest fear was living life.
I will say, like, if they're gonna go crazy, like they could have gone crazier.
No.
But they went crazy with lack of information.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
mildly crazy.
Well, it's and like it's gonna kill me to say this, but like this movie was basically, I mean, it's like what the Bye Bye Man is, but the Bye Bye Man did it better. Like they at least established something about the character and like kind of how he ticks and how it like works and how it grows and infects the people. This is like you willingly do it, but only the people participating in the game can be involved until they can't be, and then it's like, okay, whoever in the house can be involved. It doesn't matter anymore. Like
I think what Steve's trying to say is other movies did it way better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
for me to have to say like a movie like The Bye Bye Man did it better.
Bad movies did it better than
Right.
although, and that's the thing with enjoying movies in general, and we like the bad ones because they do some creative stuff sometimes. This was not good. The dialogue was bad.
So
The scenes were molasses getting from one to
Oh
the
my
other.
God.
And then I said while we were watching it, it was like they can't go into another room without showing you the empty room and then rotating the camera 120 degrees and then showing them walking into that room. It's like, this is where they're going. Here they come. It's
Well,
like,
yeah, they read a
did.
book on filmmaking, and they're like, you need establishing shots. And I'm like, what if we establish the room they're about to walk into every time they
Took
walk
it
into
way
it?
too literal.
But then it also helps pad that runtime, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you
we
really
we
got
did
to.
we did notice a few things that spoken dialogue explained something, and then they showed you like all the flashbacks.
Yeah.
All the flashbacks you figured out because they described them beforehand.
Right.
It's like normally a flashback is to describe what's about to happen, give you
Yeah.
context for what's about to happen,
Yeah.
not describe what just happened
Well,
in
what was
visual.
it was like that scene, like Alex comes out, and they're like, oh, you haven't been here since your mom died? And he's like, no, my mom died in this house. And then it cuts to her mom dead. And then she's like, my mom killed herself. And then it cuts to her mom killing herself. And then it's like,
Michael and I both laughed out loud so hard.
but then there's a
friggin' yo-yo just like here,
Boing.
there, here, there. It's like tell one, then the other. Gee whiz.
but guys, then there's a third cutback to her being like, I saw it. And then it cuts back to the same shot, but this time they superimpose the girl halfway into the fucking shot. And she's just like,
that did it for me. That was hilarious. I don't, like, it's not funny that she hung herself.
No,
but
not
just
at all.
It's like when you see in an action movie like an explosion and they like clip it like a bunch of times over and over to give it like
They show the different
more
angles.
like-
They're like
yeah.
boom, 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 boom. It's like she's dead here, she's dead there,
That's
she's
what
dead
it
here.
felt
Here's
like.
the 10-year-old. But they kept adding layers
Yeah.
to that shot.
every time they flash forward and flash back, it was like a new piece of information.
Well, her going over the top. Then we watch from the bottom. Then the 10-year-old's there. Then the 10-year-old's there. Then the 10-year-old's there. Then the
grandma
grandma's
comes
there.
in.
It's like okay. And now the grandma's talking.
Yeah.
And then they come back to it again.
And she
and
was
now
saying
she's like,
something
look
different.
at it. Look at her.
Yeah,
Look.
she-
It's like, what's
she
going
said
on?
two different things. Like
yeah, no,
oh
like
my
they can't
God.
even get their own flashbacks correct. And
It
like,
was pretty funny.
like,
it was funny.
honestly, I don't think we laughed harder than when we saw that little girl like on the flashback from the same camera angle, and now this girl is like all the way in front of the frame. It's like we would have seen her in the last flashback. You're keeping information from us.
we're watching the thing that the movie's playing on. We're watching the thing, guys. Like it's okay.
It's like, come on.
Oh my God.
It's like if you can make a movie like Everything Everywhere All at Once makes sense, like how can you not make a simple concept like, oh, you play a game and a demon comes and killed you, like at least somewhat decent? Like
Nah.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
No. All the shortcuts. Just tell the costume department years, and
Yeah.
and that's it. And then everything else is pretty ambiguous. We don't see more than. Well, even in the shots where we can see out of the house, it's dark, so you can't see past the front yard, kind of thing.
oh, can we
You can't
talk
see out
about
the
how
windows.
dark this was?
Oh, it's super
You
dark.
can't see out the windows.
No.
In the
Well,
daytime,
the-
you don't see the guy driving to the
Yeah,
house. You
no.
don't see the girl come to the everything's.
Yeah,
in the
everything's
house.
set in the house.
And it was so dark because all the lights were out. So
No, but like even
Yeah.
when the lights are
Yeah.
on, everybody's so dimly lit in shadow. Like half of the time when the Midnight Man shows up, the only time you can see him is when they shove that camera in his fucking face.
And he's 80% of the screen.
Yeah.
yeah.
And then there was several times where we're like,
is that
what,
him?
is that him? And then it pans out and there's a light on.
Yeah.
And then it would what?
Well,
What?
like there's a scene in that beginning there when the kids are running from come on.
the
Jesus
Midnight
Christ.
Man?
The Midnight Man. They're running from him, and like they're hiding behind a table, which like just a table like this, which you can clearly see through the bottom of it. So you're not like hiding from anybody. But the Midnight Man like peeks around a chair, and like the kids scream and they're running from it, but you can't see it. Like I just had to assume that's what like because you hear like the creak and like the kids go like and run away, and like the only thing you can assume is I guess he was there, but
right.
It's so dark you can't see him.
We didn't know we were watching a DC film.
Wait, am I watching the Batman? No.
It's
It's the Midnight Man.
This isn't a superhero film because I can't see anything.
Like just because the name of the movie has midnight in it doesn't mean it has to be dark all the time in your movie.
This is one of the things that we've watched hundreds of movies together. We complain about this a lot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they never. Is it that expensive? Like I don't know. Clearly that's not a real thing. Like it's put in. It's CGI.
Right.
But is it that expensive to have the scene a little more lit and have better detail to it? It's like.
Yeah, I don't think
it, but
I don't think it's a budget thing as much as they're trying to make it feel like dark and creepy.
But they show these to humans before they put it out.
Right.
I don't get it.
There is quality assurance, I think.
Like
have a focus group.
There are movies like Midsummer that you can see everything that's happening. It's daylight the whole movie and it's still creepy. Like you don't have to have it dark in your movie for it to feel creepy.
It's not rare. There's a ton of movies that are scary as heck that are in the daytime. Like even from like back in the day, like The Grudge.
Yeah.
There was daytime and it would get dark and dingy when she was around, but it was still daytime. Now this was set at midnight and the lights were off, but it was like, okay, we could have listened to this movie.
Right.
Even
it could have just been an audio film.
Even like films like Insidious do it well, where they have moments in the daytime and at night, but you can still see your creepy characters.
Well,
or at least the furniture in the room.
Yeah. You can see something.
They do stuff to help you with that. Like the furniture stands out from the background. It's not just dark furniture. Like the characters are walking around with the fucking night vision, so you can see what they're seeing. So it's like, yeah, it's dark, but they put you in the perspective of like what the characters are seeing. And then they pull back and it's like, oh, cool, I can still see the fucking room. But this, it's like, hey, you know what would be great? Like, you know, we really got to cut the budget. We can't cut another actor. We already got Robert Englund.
We only have 2 people in the credits.
Yep, just knock them lights out. Like some guys like on set, like just unscrewing all the light bulbs. Like, we can't risk it.
We told all the actors to write their own dialogue.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like.
I mean, seriously.
I don't get us wrong. We like some of it was cool.
Yeah.
There
but
were moments.
It was really not good as a whole film, but there was still some good moments that we had. Nothing was scary.
No.
We were laughing at it and we were laughing with it sometimes.
Right.
We felt both. We're not sure if that was intended for us to be laughing with they must have did that on purpose, and then you finish the film, it's like they might not have done that on purpose.
Like, did they want it to be funny when the mom hung herself for the 5th time? Because I thought it was funny.
It was almost played for like comedic effect at that point. Like anytime something sad happened, they're like, remember when the mom died?
They come back to that. The old slapstick comedy movies, like when something dumb would happen, someone would fall down the stair, you'd get them start falling, and then you'd see them. Yeah. Then it would switch, and they'd be back at the top of the stairs, but falling down again.
It just made me think of like that joke from Scary Movie 3, when it's like, and that evil videotape that's killing everyone. We're the only station that got it, and we're playing it all day.
All day.
Let's watch it again. It's like they did that with the mom's death. It's like, oh man, that was really sad, right? Let's see it again. This time in slow motion. Like this time, John Madden's gonna break it down for you.
Right.
It's like, come on,
so
man.
terrible. Well, I think it's reaching close to midnight.
Oh,
or
yeah.
3:33. It would, but I might have turned the clock forward because I'm a demon, but I have to cheat at the game I made up. Like, just be better at your own game, dude. Like he has to cheat. He made up the game. He's got to cheat to beat children.
You literally wrote the rules. Why are you?
It's too hard for me. I need a break, guys. Come on.
Guys, it's really not fair that you had that much salt lying around the house.
Yeah, it's really hard to kill all these kids.
It was back when salt prices were way higher, so he's like, "Oh, this game's easy."
Yeah.
And then people started making economies and capitalism came out and they're like, salt's cheap as heck. It's everywhere.
Yeah. No, I could buy it by the bushel.
One bushel of salt, please. Why? To keep the midnight man away.
Sorry, I have a lot of rooms in my house and they all need salt circles.
Salt circles.
Oh, my
Salt
God.
circles, candles, leaving the salt circles. Somehow not being able to keep the matches where the candles are.
You're always fumbling.
But at
for
one
them.
point, she pulled the matches out of her pocket. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, why didn't you put them back?
Yeah.
Why didn't you put them back in the...
Where did I put them?
The
Oh,
pocket
no.
was working.
But these guys maybe used like 4, maybe 5 matches.
It wasn't.
then they
It wasn't
ran out.
egregious.
And at a certain point,
I know, yeah.
she's like, "Oh my God, we're out." It's like you think you would notice like maybe 2 or 3 candles before you run out. Just be like, "Hey, seriously,
Well-
watch out for the candle. We only got 2 of these left." Like, it's like
that was when both their candles went out at the same time, though, because if we're playing the game and mine goes out and yours goes out, I'm lighting mine first.
Well, duh.
Oh, Steve, sorry, that was the last match. My
Well,
bad.
it's almost like once you light the match, it stays on fire for a couple
And
seconds.
then you
so
can light multiple.
like everybody get close. Light 1, 2, 3. All right, we're good, guys.
No, they kept burning through them.
But what actually happened was Butterfingers. We don't have the salt. It's too late. If you had salt in one pocket and matches in the other pocket,
Oh yeah.
and
be
everybody
fine.
had their own iteration of that, you could just go, oh, my candle blew out. Salt circle, matches. And then every time that happens, you wait 33 minutes.
Right.
So if your candle goes out 5 times, you're done.
Right.
And then you're done.
Yeah.
I will say one more thing about the 10-second rule with the candle. It wasn't
Rule.
ever 10 seconds.
Rule.
Like, their candle would go out, they would count to 10, and then they'd have about 15 more seconds before the bye-bye man got them. Like, I feel like they should have had one person count to 10, and exactly at 10 seconds they got snatched away, because then that would give that some sort of
But
like fear. Like,
you saw him at 10 seconds in the background.
yeah, but then he just kind of waited.
Yep. And it wasn't consistent, so we
Yeah.
were never afraid of it. Like, we
Yeah.
weren't ever anticipating it, because it was like, well, one was 10.5 seconds. One was 14. She knocks on the door 22 times to start the game. So this is just
So-
arbitrary.
No, but like the
Yeah.
other thing is the candle would go out. Like this much time would pass, and then they would go 1, 2.
No,
Yeah,
it's
they would
too
start
fast.
counting
3.
like 5 seconds after.
Yeah,
And they-
so I'm like,
they-
you already lost.
The first, what I thought was silly, was the first time she counts to 10.
Right.
Or, no, while she was counting, the first time she's counting, knocking on the door,
Mm.
she couldn't remember 11 for a split second. It was 10, 11, and it was like, oh, well, it's a good thing the rest of the game it's only 10, is because she struggled to get to
After
11.
10.
It was,
Right.
I don't know. And then after that, I was kind of like, all right, I don't give a shit what she's counting about. None of it matters.
Yeah, none of this matters.
None of it
I
matters.
felt like everyone had a super low IQ.
If
Yeah.
we can leave you with anything, none of it mattered.
None of it matters.
If you want to watch a kid explode, watch this movie.
Yeah, honestly, turn it off.
Kid exploding, and then the through the
Yeah, the fist
Oh,
through
that's
the,
cool.
through
left-
Miles's face.
yeah, the left jab through the face, and then they show him afterwards. A couple times they showed the aftermath, and it was a
Yeah.
little. It was like, oh, they actually tried for
Yeah,
that. It
they
was
got
like,
a
okay,
dummy and they
okay,
punched it.
I'm glad they did that.
Yeah.
That one was okay,
Right.
but just too much junk to watch ever again.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, bad
I-
writing. Sorry.
I definitely can't. I can't give this one the
This-
stamp of approval.
No, this
stamp.
this movie's been done before, and it's been done way better. All of them are way better than this. I think this is
Sure.
probably the worst one of this
Yeah, this type of
game,
thing.
summon, death,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
when you can make a movie about truth or dare be more interesting than this.
and film it in the same house.
Yeah, next it'll be like Hungry Hungry Hippos. It's like the new scary board game movie.
Scary board game movie.
It's like, what do we do? All these hungry hippos are attacking my house at midnight. And they're like,
Shoots and ladders, more like shoots and death.
well, no, you shoot the person and they fall down the ladder.
No. We
Shoots and
We shoot grandmas 3 times.
Yes. Well, you got to aim for the head. If not, they come
Now,
back.
I will say she only had 3 bullets.
Mm-hmm. All 3 of them.
6-shot revolver. They never explained where the other bullets went.
No.
Why was there only 3? So in a previous iteration of the game, somebody got shot 3 times too.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
well,
Mhm.
you know, they probably shot him at the Midnight Man. They're like, get out of here. Go. Oh,
And,
shit, it didn't work.
And afterwards, I think we're all going to shoot ourselves.
Yeah, so thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, seriously. Well,
It was a movie.
yeah.
It was a movie.
It was definitely a use of an hour and a half.
Yep.
Mhm.
It wasn't a good use of an hour and a half, but, you know, an hour and a half was used.
Every once in a while, some of the films in the book suck.
But don't worry, we're covering them so you don't have to.
Right. So you can listen to us hate the movie.
Yeah.
So
But-
until next time.
Yeah. Well, make sure your candles are lit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Have that salt ready.
Is that all you have? Salt Circle Steve?
Yeah, that's about my only.
Because I'm done making my friends bleed Michael.
And again, I'm
so silly.
seriously, don't blow out your candle, Danielle.
We'll catch you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.
No summoning. No more summoning.
Oh my god.
It actually makes Ouija a decent movie,
Yeah, it really does.
which is
You guys want to go watch that?
I can't believe I'm saying that. This makes Ouija look well done.
Like a good movie. Yep. Like an actual filmed movie.
What project feels more? I'm just being completely mean at this point, but project feels better than movie.
I mean, you guys tried it.
Student film, not even the thesis.